Hello there. Welcome back to Charles Circle, and welcome back to Captain of Industry. Last time, we built 95% of our first coal power plant, massively increasing the amount of power available to us, and we built our steel factory. Strong start to the mid-game, which we've broken into by unlocking Research Lab 1, which we are supplying over here. We did, I think, a pretty good job of tidying up our base as we built that Research Lab setup so that we could hit the ground running and take advantage of all these cool new technologies. And between last episode and this episode, I looked around the base and realized that, well, maybe we did, but also at the same time, we're out of electronics because we're out of copper, because we're out of copper ore. And steel, it's up and running. We have some, but we don't have any iron ore over here either. So maybe we're not quite as fully caught up as I had hoped. Of course, this game, that's how this works, right? You build one thing and that increases your need of another, and you're constantly chasing and playing whack-a-mole in a good way. That's the fun of it. So I think as a result, today we are going to focus on a massive mining expansion. I am, frankly, at this point, just kind of tired of being out of our basic resources. And I think we've done a good job, certainly, of making sort of the minimum necessary investments so that we can move quickly. But I think we're now, quote unquote, rich enough as a base to make these investments at the base of our manufacturing pyramid, those very core inputs, so that we don't have to worry about that so much going forward, and we can focus on the new stuff as much as possible. So today, I will not rest until our ore sorters are overflowing. Let's do it. So, first thing I'm going to do is we are currently completely running on fumes for electronics 1 because we don't have any copper. I'm going to do two things immediately to resolve that. First, in the very short term, I'm going to take a nice little loan. I have kind of started to come around to these. It's the declining interest rate and fee and all of that, I think makes a really big difference. I think we can outgrow the interest rate, which really is all it takes to justify that kind of an investment. We can definitely increase our copper production by more than 6% over those years. So let's bring some of that forward. Part of why we have that problem, though, is we are not pulling enough copper out of the ground, even with both of these excavators focused on it. Let's keep research going. I'll explain some of these later on. Actually, what I want to do is this one instead. And that's great and all, but we need to add more excavators, frankly. I think that's where we're at. So the first thing we're going to do, hey, look at that. One was built. I'm going to add this to our copper mine control tower. I'm also, because we are hitting the problem with a sledgehammer today, immediately taking off these two, adding one here and some supporting trucks, and one here and some supporting trucks. That's probably okay. We can keep that at 6. So we need to replace that. And we're going to Unity deliver and just really crank out a few of these excavators so that this isn't a problem anymore. I would like, actually, not just to backfill those two terraformers, I would like to expand this crew because we need this space and it's not ready for us yet. We're getting there, we're making progress, but the progress isn't fast enough, and I think we'll be able to afford it. Similarly, I would love to flatten this space as we move out this direction next. Definitely second priority, but something we can start on as well. So that's going. We want to see a few more things happen as well, though. We are going to require more workers for those vehicles we've just produced, etc. So let's get this housing built. Something I didn't remark on last time. These only have to be blueprinted to count as connected, right, for the colony. Kind of funny that our food supply is connected through a ghost blueprint outline. So be it. Works for me. Our transformer, which we had last time, is also connected that way, and that's fine. But we have the space now, so I think our beacon should have room to be dropping off any additional people and any growth that we might get as well. Cool. That's nice. The reason this is so urgent, well, electronics goes into maintenance. And because we're prioritizing, right, the way we built this was only overflow once maintenance is satisfied can go on to these other pieces. You know, we've kind of put a tourniquet on the issue, but this number is not 100%. We need to be very aware of what's going on here. So that's what Unity's for. That's what we're doing over here with Unity as well. We may actually need to build the second half here, but let's see. That's not our bottleneck right now. It's not like we have a pile of loose ore and not enough throughput. Refugees and a belated tutorial on crisis management. No problem. Cool. We are also getting kind of close to oil processing, which is good because one of the things that adding a bunch of vehicles is going to, you know, create as a bit of a side effect is we are going to go through diesel faster, and this reservoir is not increasing. So we're going to start thinking about that. I think, I'm not committing yet, but I think one of the things that I want to do with this space as we open it is put our refinery here. So we've touched on the idea a little bit, but this cargo depot technology and its relatively quick upgrade cargo depot 2 will allow us to bring in resources, including oil, but not just oil, eventually, from the rest of the world map. And that will allow us to shed the shackles of our island's intrinsic limitations, right? It's one of the ways that you can do that. It's the first, I think, truly accessible way. So I'm thinking we'll park a cargo boat full of oil here and then have the refinery somewhere in here. It's kind of what I imagine, but we may end up making a temporary, like a better temporary setup over here first, to at least improve our efficiency in the meanwhile, because this will take a moment for sure. Great, so the first one is out, and of course, yeah, running low on iron as a result. How are we on ore? Is copper at least filling up out here? Wow. Well, of course, I need to tell them all to focus on copper, as frustrating as it is that I keep forgetting that. That's fine. They're at least moving, and they have enough trucks, I think, to keep them working continuously. So that's good, but I suppose it could be better as well. The other problem I think we're going to run into is, so coal is now not keeping up. I kept being pleasantly surprised last time that our coal was doing okay. I think it was only doing okay because we weren't consuming as much of it as we expected to, because we didn't quite have as much ore as we thought we needed, particularly when you also consider our coal consumption for power now. We definitely expect that our coal consumption will need to be upgraded, so that makes sense. Let's keep that moving as well. Surely, iron plates are going to be a problem there. Prioritization inflation strikes again. That's all right. It is what it is. It has to happen. All right, but you're bringing some coal over. all of you are as well, right? So we blueprinted this last time because we think we might need to give our coal mine its own dedicated ore sorter. This doesn't really change the amount of distance that the coal has to go to get used, but what it does do is shorten the distance that these assigned trucks have to do. So if we find ourselves using too many trucks over here, basically, this will save us on that and reallocate the truck transit to other, which is for the rest of the base's responsibility. What are we going to do about the iron? Maybe it's another loan until we can get the coal up and going. Let's do it. I'm going to fly too close to the sun on this too, aren't I? Actually, here, this is what we can do. I told you there was a quick trade offer for steel to iron. I also told you that steel is made out of twice as much iron per plate, which means that this steel was made from 80 iron ore. But hey, this iron plate was made from 100 iron ore. So this, at least until the rates increase, is actually more efficient. Now, of course, we're spending our steel, which we would like to be conserving for construction parts 3. Okay. This is the other thing we probably need to do. We are going to need to get this up and running because part of our throughput issues are going to be solved by upgrading these machines, which requires construction parts 3. We are wasting water until we build this from last episode. And ultimately, we can't use steel to replace iron in all the ways that we want to, or construction parts, for mechanical parts, etc., until we have assembly 3s. Assembly 3s are required, I guess, to process steel for everything except construction parts 3. I don't know, trying to back into a lore explanation for you, but I don't think I have it. At any rate, let's get this built. But yeah, we're just low on iron. I think really until, because I don't want to take more loans, I suppose, until we get the price increase, because this is still, I mean, this is break even from an iron ore perspective. Now, of course, there's a lot more that goes into it in producing steel, right? There's oxygen, there's all the extra power and everything that goes along with it. But iron ore is really the only resource I care that much about. So I think I'll make those trades for a little bit longer while we are ramping up our mining operations. This looks like it's working basically continuously, which is good because this is now full. But you are not. We're out of trucks. Naturally. But we can quick deliver that. And then I think we probably do need to get a few trucks built real quick. We'll instant deliver those as well, because our network is mad at us, which I understand. I'm throwing a lot at it pretty quickly. In the meanwhile, though, since this terraforming crew doesn't have its excavators, it certainly doesn't need assigned trucks. So I think we can reallocate some there. Oh, landslide. You're right there, Mr. Excavator. He's hanging in there. Whew. We are right in the core of the very most rich, pure iron vein, or the richest part of this iron vein, which is good for us from an efficiency perspective. It does mean, because it's pure, that these trucks that, you know, are coming straight from the mine, he came straight from the mine, didn't he? Can deliver that directly to our smelting setups here and here. Do we want that? It's kind of an interesting question. I would actually argue that no, we don't. Because we want to make sure that no matter what, these guys always have a truck. Now, it doesn't seem like it's too much of an issue right away, but I do think we want to ensure that that doesn't become an issue. So what are we going to do? Well, a long time ago, we unlocked something called Advanced Logistics Control, Custom Routes. What I can say is, these trucks who are assigned to this mine tower may only export now to this ore sorter, but because this ore sorter is rejecting single loads, i.e. pure loads, we want to make sure that, well, if you can't dump it here because it's a full 20 iron ore, you do have a spot to dump it. But we just want you to put it straight here and get back to the mine, right? The same thing is going to be true here and here. Why is that invalid? Very curious. Oh, because we're dumping stuff. It's not allowed to do that. Okay, that's fine. I'll just remove those. What I really care about, because you should never really be getting a pure dirt load. That would be a misallocation of our excavators. They should always be getting at least some ore, right? Otherwise, what are they doing? So I think these are really the only two that we have to do. All right, that should maybe marginally improve our excavator efficiency, but I think maybe more importantly, allow us to go down. Now we still have 2 trucks per. Okay, that's fine. We'll let that work. How's coal doing? Everybody's still working. We are still going through all of the coal that we're making right now, which is maybe not the best thing in the world. Let's boost these fellows as well. Okay, so maybe our next excavator needs to go to coal as well. That might be true. I still don't want to build this ore sorter, so I think I'm going to live with the truck inefficiency, which means I should give 3 there. Oh, goodness. We are definitely taxing our vehicle network. But this is working. I'll simply have him make a handful more trucks so that it's not actively painful. Let's instantly deliver everything. 1, to keep it going, and 2, to avoid our trucks having to do it. All right. This not being full is like not ideal. I could set up a belt, but I would really like it if our trucks had the ability to just, you know, occasionally make that very small trip rather than creating spaghetti belts everywhere. All right. Let's see here. The other thing that's happening is our research is slowing down because we're not supplying continuously the lab equipment we need. That's a 2-part problem. 1, we aren't transporting what we do have. 2, again, short on electronics. That's required. The good news is we built up a storage of vehicle parts, and it doesn't take that many per truck over here. So we aren't feeling that pain yet. We will, though, if we don't take care of it. So let's deliver another. And look at this. We do have parts 3 coming out. So that's nice. I do appreciate that. I also think I'm going to prioritize here. The bottleneck here is about to be steel, though, right? So we said that we want to run steel out and around the same way we do electronics. But I think in the meanwhile, we're probably going to have to do, call call it a temporary entry point. Let's say steel here. And we just allow it to shortcut this in the meanwhile. Is that worth doing? I think it is. I think we're gonna do it. Save our trucks. You'd rather have one big truck load come over here and drop 20 than, you know, the handful at a time that are used in the assembly too. So that should help, as should the fact that we're finally getting copper into these assemblies. Maybe we'll even boost these. And heck, we have just so much unity. Why not? Let's do that. Yeah, I think that's worth doing. How are we over here? I think these fellas could use a boost. Although we are keeping up, it'd be nice to keep up better, so to speak. And shoot, we've got these. I think it might be time to build our third one. This will look like overkill in relatively short order because we'll be able to upgrade these. But I think that's far enough into the future that we kind of need to do this now too. And then we'll have it. It's not like it costs us too much to keep it going in the meanwhile. That's interesting. Would have expected that down here. And now it resets. All right, cool. So that should be keeping steel coming around here. How is our continuous steel production going? Not great, Bob. Not great. Still need more iron ore. Yeah, I mean, I think the truck network issue is far and away the most problematic right now. I'm even thinking about, do we want to strip the trucks off of our tree harvesters temporarily to help out? I want to clear this area, but like we have a buffer over here, one that I want to relocate anyway. This is now an officially annoying place for that to be, huh? Okay, let's do it. And I will simply have to ignore that alert for a while, but that's 6 more trucks. That's a boost of nearly 10% to our network. Hopefully that's helpful. More importantly, let's make sure that we keep the deliveries to the vehicle depot going. I almost wonder, do we need, temporarily, a second vehicle depot? Kind of feel like we might, huh? I think we would benefit from it. Let's do it. And that means we're going to need to prioritize CP1 for now. And cool. I mean, we're starting to get a few, which must mean it is beautiful. Okay. So we are now officially recycling half of the water that we have to put into our coal power plant setup. As a quick reminder, we have priority here to make sure that the recycled water is being used first, which should reduce the required activity by our groundwater pump by that 50%. It'll also keep this whole thing from getting backed up, but we did add this balancer here so that if we have to vent off any extra steam, which we did last time because I forgot that the cooling tower required construction parts 3, which we weren't making yet, this will be a backup. And as you can see, it is firing every once in a while, which is interesting. 24. Ah, that's why. I need 2 of these. Well, that's on me, folks. Okay, no problem. Third time's the charm. We'll get it right. Let's prioritize both of these outputs, right, over the vent. Glad we looked. Let's just quickly delete this. This over first so that we can join up on the ground here. Immediately build that. And then try to do these as well. Beautiful. Good news, we already have those parts. All right, now we're actually saving 20 or 50% of the water. Goodness. It's not strictly necessary right now because we're auto balancing, which means we're not using both of these full time, right? This one is spinning up as necessary. Now it's occasionally necessary, right? These spin every once in a while. But the fact that this is in motion at all means that every once in a while we do need the second cooling tower. The other thing to do could have just been to Unity boost this, but I would rather have a permanent solution because that is a permanent problem that's only going to get worse with time. All right, cool. Everything's crashing out in red. What can we do about that? This is interesting. Okay. I think we simply need more constructors, because this isn't just a truck network problem. It's not like there's a full stack of iron ore here, right? And I think similarly, it's not like there's a full stack of copper. We're simply consuming more than we're able to produce, except what is going on over here? You're full up on sand. Okay, I thought we had reject single product loads. So what on earth is happening here? So we are filling up on sand, unfortunately. And that's causing a huge problem that would otherwise be solved in our copper. What I don't understand is, if you get this, leave it in the comments. Why is it allowing, I mean, I guess mixed loads of sand are coming in, but there's just still so much sand. So like adding more sand storage is only going to delay the problem. It's going to punt it down the road. I mean, I think this is just going to be fundamentally an issue here. I mean, we're full up on rock too. That is a truck network problem. I think this is fundamentally going to be an issue while we have these two ore sorters working on the same thing. So, fine. Sorry. Copper is too important at this point. I think we're just going to make a separate sand ore sorter and disallow this one from working here. I think I just sent a whole bunch of sand to probably to our shipyard by disqualifying that right there. We are still blocked up by rock. We'll take care of that. All right, hopefully this helps. Hopefully this helps. Our trucks do seem to be in motion again, so that's good. And yeah, look at that. Ton of sand in the shipyard. All right. Upgraded storages. This is the thing. We're definitely not hitting anywhere close to all of our loans, which I thought was going to be much more of a problem than it actually is, because our interest rates are staying just fine. They're staying just fine. We're about to be totally square on iron until I make another loan. But we're not keeping up on copper right now. Hopefully what we just did over here helps us with that. But I do think that our iron ore production is still not keeping up. And I mean, it makes sense. We've got basically like, we're trying to run essentially 4 blast furnaces at a time, these 2 and this one on Unity. So I think we will keep making pickups here, and let's make excavators here. And that lack of iron, do we have steel? We don't even have steel to trade because we have no iron. So yeah, sure. I'll take another loan. Give me that. That should hopefully, yep, allow me to quick deliver this. I said I would stop at nothing until our ore was overflowing, and it is not that yet. I feel like every time we fix something over here, we just find another problem. You're still looking for copper ore, right? It's weird to me that they're digging here, but I guess it's as good a spot as any. I mean, not really. There's a lot of rock to go through first. We should really probably be focusing over here. All right, I hate micromanaging a mining operation, but it's kind of where we're at right now, is we need to be hitting the more rich veins. And like, you can see it's all here. So I don't know why they're insisting on digging through nearly pure rock over here. We'll get to it eventually, I'm sure. But please, 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 work over here. Like, these are much better concentrations of copper per truckload, you know? All right, what are you mad about? What are you blocked on? You're not blocked on anything right now. Is this a warning that rock is high? Dunno, not sure. We'll check in again in a second. Nearly done. Getting there. Beautiful. Make another, please and thanks. The good news is that our ore sorting plant throughput is still okay. At a certain point, we'll be mining so much, like a rate that it can only process 240 of whatever it is we're dumping in, right? So that's not even necessarily 240 iron ore. That's another reason to sort of circumvent the single product loads, is because it takes up that capacity. But even then, we'll need to get, there's a second version of these, like an ore sorting plant 2 type of thing, which is pretty cool. But we are very far away from being able to afford that, and fortunately pretty far away from needing it as well. I really don't want to have to connect this by belt, but we are struggling without it. And yeah, I think all of our part imports for construction parts need to be, let's call it at 5, right? So good, and there you are. I also think we can slow down the pace of construction parts 3 and maybe prioritize our outputs back here towards the accumulation of 2s and good on 1s, huh? All right. So I would start upgrading these, right? Because we now have construction parts 3 that are not earmarked. The problem is that these machines are not our bottleneck. We're not keeping them fully supplied, even though they are Unity Max. We could dial that back, but the issue is simply our trucks are not keeping up. So I think we just keep on doing this, huh? Of course, now we're out of vehicle parts. which is very far downstream from electronics. The good news is that, one, I kind of forgot to keep research going. Let's see, what do we want to do next? I think I want gas combustion, burner. I'm researching ahead now, thinking about our eventual refinery build. Talk about those techs when we get to use them. But I also think now that we are further ahead in research than we can use, I actually think we do want to prioritize vehicle parts over research. Well, good news. We built that flexibility into our system. All we have to do is that. We will probably never adjust this one because maintenance is always going to be number one. And hey, look at that. We are officially requiring more maintenance than we produce. Not the greatest thing. So we need to build another maintenance depot and the supporting lifts and belts to make sure that he is supplied. The good news is this isn't going to double our consumption. It's only going to increase it by, what, 25%? Because we're not going to make this full extra 220. We're just going to make the extra what's required. Maintenance produces what you need to meet demand in the same way that like a diesel generator only burns diesel to meet the electrical demand. So I don't mind building an extra maintenance, quote unquote, early. It also provides, so you can't store maintenance, right? I can't put it into like a unit storage, but there is a buffer, and the buffer is the sum of the storage space within these maintenance buildings. And so by building a second one, we have exactly doubled our maintenance storage, if that makes sense as well, which just gives us more time to react. Because 36% is pretty low. But yeah, this is... So, I mean, look, if this is for maintenance, I mean, I think that justifies a number one import. If anything does, it's power and maintenance. And we have this on a 1. So, I think it's reasonable to match that. And the little bits of extra that are coming through, we are getting some vehicle parts on, so that's nice. I'm going to prioritize the pickup. Would be great to get another excavator in here too, although this is starting to look a little fuller, which is nice. I assume we're also okay over here then. Great. And the other thing that I was concerned about that we don't have to be anymore, I think, is coal. Great, good. I think we're keeping everybody working over here, so that's nice. And then let's check in again on copper, our problem child, who doesn't look like they have enough trucks somehow. We have 4 guys. How is 8 trucks not enough? You're killing me. Give them 2 more. I don't mind going up a little above 2 trucks per excavator. I just really think that if you need 3 or more, which by the way is what we're doing over here for coal because it's so far, but I really think that in the longer run, if you're continuously needing 3, you probably need to invest in optimizing your setup a little bit further, which we definitely do. That's what this guy's for. Are we ready to do that? We might be. I mean, we can insta-build it. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Now, they should... I'm kind of curious. I believe, that they will prioritize dropping off here because it is closer. But I haven't invalidated this one, right? It still does accept coal. I suppose we also probably want to add the... Oop, no. trying to line it up. Doesn't matter. We want to clear the space out first, actually. Oh yeah, good luck getting up there. And good luck doing anything because I took all your trucks. Whoops. But I think this should help. And if this does get full, we'll leave this on as a backup. But I think they should prioritize dumping here. Except that we have reject single product loads on, which means that we need to, and by the way, we have storage 2 unlocked now. This means that we need to build an actual storage here. Let's say you may, in fact, bring things here. And let's build these 2. I believe I'm going to want to... I'm actually just going to say split priority rather than juggling back and forth. We want to do both. And if anything gets backed up, it'll automatically, quote unquote, prioritize by simply sending everything overflow over anyway. So this is starting to look like a half decent amount of electronics moving. Starting to look. Ugh. Okay. This is adding up, which means this has, if we have coal, dang it, we don't have coal. I was gonna say that we need to build this second row now because this is operating at maximum capacity consistently, but no, it's not, because we don't have any coal. Oh my goodness. All right, come on, trucks. Yeah, vehicle parts. I'm actually going to, let's say, cancel this. I want to prioritize trucks, unfortunately. That's what's required right now. And I kind of think the last excavator we've just popped out here needs to go to coal. Is that right? I mean, I think it is. Yeah. Well, let's see how that works. More people. Housing is fine, but approaching not fine. I think we probably get one more round of refugees before we have to decide if we're going to pause the beacon or build more housing. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Oh, everybody's mad. This is low on water. It's also a problem. It's also a truck network problem. It's an interesting question, though. Where is our water all coming out of? Basically here, isn't it? This is the only like water export that we have, so to speak, because this is an import consumer. I think we could allow trucks to take from here. I think that's okay. So let's allow trucks to grab water from here. Should be all right. In the longer run, we should think about like a city infrastructure type water supply that runs pipes under roads and such. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Cool. This is actually running down. Means we'll have to send our trucks back over those tree harvesters in a moment, but I certainly don't mind clearing this out in the meanwhile, and it's not like there's any consequence to these trees being up here still. We are officially about to run through the last of our Unity buffer. We're still generating plenty, and not a single one of these machines is running, which makes all of that a waste. is really an issue here. So coal makes all the sense in the world. This tab, by the way, is a very, very helpful one. It'll tell you what your trucks are spending the most time on. Not much to be done about most of these things yet, but this high volume is precisely why it would be really nice to get trains to bring stuff from our mines, because it's better throughput, it's cheaper to run from a fuel perspective per unit transported, and it frees up our trucks. So we do want that. We do want that. Are there any quick trades for like vehicle parts or anything? No, of course not. Sad. Can I loan? I cannot. Also sad. Okay, so be it. I mean, the good news is our steel seems to be, well, yeah, no, the exception of coal. We're catching up on our ores, but as we said at the top, once we catch up on our ores, it means we're going to be then testing our coal. And I think the good news here is that I think the coal production is working, right? I mean, this is building up. So as soon as we can get our trucks to catch up on dropping off over here to all of these, we should be okay. You can see the ones that are closest are doing the best. This is all right. Oh, we have it on import 5 as well, which I think is okay only because we're still using mechanical parts, which is upstream of maintenance. But I think that same justification means that we could bump this import to 5. Copper ore. I think this is the best that the copper ore storage has looked all game. I'm actually very excited about that, because it means our problem child is mostly working. Seeing excavators that aren't moving 100% of the time. We're doing a lot better. I think clearing out, separating the sand was the right thing to do. Why are you not sending... Oh, because this is also probably on reject single product loads, but because we don't have a storage where they can dump it if they have a single product load. Exactly right. So now they should be able to go here and fill this up. Not that I care. This is so much more sand than we need, but just to keep things operating the way that they're supposed to be. This is good. You are now full of dirt. I think we'll just do a small dirt storage here. You should be dirt, and you should get dumped. And then this will allow this to keep going. Fortunately, the amount of rock doesn't seem to be backing up. Go, 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 go. Send all this coal back to base. It's a long trip we're asking them to make. We should really do something about that. Bigger trucks and trains are on the tech tree horizon. Just up past here. I will say, trains and large vehicles, they require this vehicle parts too. We make steel. We certainly make vehicle parts. We don't make glass yet. And so despite the fact that you can unlock them here, I don't think you can really make them without doing some funny trade and loan business that is not sustainable until you get through to glass making. we'll do that first. It's not so big a deal to set it up, but it's not one technology away, so to speak. For anyone who is yelling at me to unlock them now, sorry. We'll get there, I promise. But we really can't afford it quite yet. Copper's looking good. All right, now that we have stopped Unity boosting everything, it's doing okay. You know, the electronics are getting out to the rest of the base at least. Our copper is mostly keeping up. Maybe, barely, not quite. All right, I am now officially convinced then that we're gonna need to build this second row. So I think we're gonna do that. No rush, but since this has been Unitied for quite some time and it's still an issue, I think it'll be worth adding this. Do we need... We don't need this. Right? Yeah, that's coal supply down to 3 and 4. Good. Oh no, we're delinquent again. Our poor creditors. Still at 6% interest. We started at 8, or maybe even 10. Anyway, it's gone down. It's gone down. These are all, yeah, construction parts 1, which means I'm going to save our trucks because our trucks are very busy. We're going to throw some of our newly regenerating Unity at this. And also any spots that we kind of forgot along the way. We don't have any construction parts 2 right now, which is a function of we don't have any construction parts 1, which is a function of we don't have any iron. Come on now, iron. Which is a function of, now we have coal. Gosh. After all these episodes, am I gonna have to finally admit that we need to expand this? No, 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 I refuse. Surely we are making enough steel that we can quick trade it. There we go, I have a way out. So much iron, see? We're totally fine. We don't need to make more of that. I don't know what you're talking about. Look, this is what the devs want. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to replace iron with steel. It's clearly what they want us to do, so I'm gonna give it a shot. This is good though. These are working. As soon as we get a couple more belts here, we should be able to get the old copper machine, the old copper factory keeping up. You know, if the coal also keeps up. But we are caught up here, so we don't need to be throwing any more excavators at the coal here. That's officially time to pause the beacon. We don't need to be pulling any more coal out of the ground. We need trucks to be delivering it. So, I guess that's what we'll do here. We do have a couple of vehicle parts built up. Oh, okay, good. Oh, well, shoosh. I should have been being a bit more proactive about that, but that's all right. We can crank those out pretty quickly. Put it up on 3. That should allow us to make one more and one more. Got a few more in storage. Our maintenance is good, by the way. We're only getting vehicle parts because our maintenance is full up. So, this is good. Of course, again, we've made an intentional trade-off here, but that means that our research is slower, which is fine. Like I said, we are officially further ahead on our techs than we can make use of. Again, good place to be, but that is where we are. And can we... I see down there. I should at least start copper production again. Good. Okay. Feel a lot better about that. We're going to leave one of the modules on Unity for now. But if it turns out that we need this, once we do catch up, if we need then we need to build a third one. You know what I mean? I don't want Unity to be a permanent solution with this one pet exception of ours. But the coal's keeping up here. That seems good. I think our truck network is doing okay. Go, 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 go. All right. What's our vehicle cap, by the way? There is a cap on the number of vehicles that you can have, that you can increase with research, but we are approaching it. We are approaching it. But we can also increase it by 30 after the next research, which I think we'll probably want to do. All right. I definitely think the second vehicle depot was a good investment, don't you? I definitely do. Oh, time to quick trade some more steel for iron. All right. So we are getting there. We are trending the right direction. I think we're probably going to be quick trading some of our steel for iron until we swap these recipes out. I am okay with that because... Oh. We could actually just do that real quick here, couldn't we? Just on construction parts 1. And that would really help our... So we have the construction parts 3 now for this. Excuse me, this is what I meant to click on. All right, we're gonna do it. We're doing it. We're going in. We have to do everything on this row as well. So I'm cutting, control scroll up, re-clicking in place. It's probably a better way to do that, or there should be, but I don't know it. And so now what we're going to do is make this steel. Of course, we're still going to need this recipe until we get steel. But once we do, we'll go to steel. And eventually this will burn out and we'll be done with it. But now that we have assembly 3s... Oh, I have to wait for it to finish. There we go. Now, finally, that we have assembly 3s, we can build construction parts 1 out of steel. Oh my gosh. How exciting is that? That is really going to improve our steel concerns. Here's the other thing. We should probably be building mechanical parts from steel as well. I think we can do that. I think we should do that. I think that would look something like this. Delete, clear out. Well, let it unpause. In fact, I'll even just place this. All right, so here's a question. Is this actually where we want to be producing mechanical parts? So when you get to the mechanical parts by steel recipe, you make 2 to 1. Like, that's fantastic. obviously. Let's do this here. But it also switches a previous logic. It used to be that it made more sense to make the mechanical parts where you were making the iron because it was fewer parts to transport. Now, it arguably makes sense to make the mechanical parts where you need them as part of that factory because you have to bring twice as many truckloads because 2 mechanical parts is the same as 2 steel. You have to bring over twice as much if you want to make this from steel. So in theory, it probably makes sense now to make our mechanical parts, say, here, right? It's an interesting question. Should we do that? We could start by doing it, let's say, I mean, this is a little jammed up. We could do it here and just flip which one of these they each go in. This is not very future-proof. What I'm wondering is this going to be enough throughput? So, yeah, so for example, these maintenance depots alone will take that 24 that we would be able to make here. So maybe that's not quite the answer. Maybe what we should do is accept for now the transportation inefficiency. We'll just live with it. And we will think about it in the future, but I just don't think we're ready to quite rebuild our entire everything that uses mechanical parts. But I don't think that means we have to accept that we need to use an inefficient recipe in the meanwhile. So let's do it like this. You need upgraded, and you need upgraded. Okay. This will... Are you paused, slag? Come on, folks. Clear that out. This will, however, also reduce our requirement for iron plate production, which is great news, obviously. The other thing is, we should, once these plates come in, have the same production rate over here, because one of the things that happens when you upgrade from a 2 to a 3, or from a 3 to a 4, is that the production rate doubles per level as well. So these were unitied, now they don't need to be, and we'll still make the same amount. All right, so that's steel, at least temporarily. I still am trying to decide how we want to handle that in the longer run, but we have ore, we have coal. Here we have ore, we have coal, okay. We have copper building up in the places that we use it, okay. We have electronics, ooh, and hopefully soon mechanical parts, where we need them. We are getting our truck network into a much better place. Look at that. That's a bunch. That's a bunch of idle vehicles. That really was our bottleneck, you know? It is very good that we resolved that. Okay, why? That's interesting. I wonder why that wasn't connecting. Works now. Let's see. So now it really is just making sure that we get steel all the places that we need it. Because we have now asked it to go several places. All right, really though, why is this not happening? I was told we had idle trucks, so what seems to be the problem here, folks? Do we not have anywhere to dump it? Ah! Look at that. We don't have anywhere to dump it. So, let's do that. Which means we will have to adjust this area. All right, good. Those are all working just fine. And I think now what we're going to do is get back to making our excavators. As soon as we upgrade our vehicle cap, then those will be able to get back to our terraforming. Yeah, wow. Looks like there was a lot of dumping to be done, huh? Whoops. Let our dumping designation run out of space. That'll do it. So everything everywhere is full of dirt and rock and slag. Well, that'll help too. I wonder how long that was an issue. Good. What did I say? We're not going to rest until our ore is overflowing. This is what overflowing ore looks like. This is what overflowing ore looks like. This is a copper or a coal mine that has run out of area to work. Whoops. So get him going again. But I am feeling a lot better about where we are now than where we were at the beginning of the episode. We are still full. We are still full, but make sure that we stay full. Tremendous. All right. This is good. This is very good. I'd like to get our terraforming crew back up and running. I think that's the one thing that I mentioned at the top that we didn't get a chance to properly handle, but I think we will live with that for now. And I'm starting to wonder if we need to increase our steel supply. But if we do, no problem, because we've got the ore. It's pretty great. Good. All right, so what are we probably building up to next time? We have officially researched all of the various little techs, pipes, cargo depot, larger storage, the burner, a handful of things that we will need in order to build a refinery. I'm also looking at this decreasing oil pump with some urgency. So I'll put a little bit of thought in between episodes and decide if we want to build a proper large refinery, which I think will happen inevitably eventually in this area, but maybe not immediately. Or if we need to build some sort of larger temporary setup over here using our new technologies, at least improving our efficiency so that we can buy more time with the second half of this reservoir to properly set up out here. The other thing we can do before I forget is get our trees going again. So one way or another, I think next time is probably an oil episode. And the good news is that we're, I think, in a pretty good place to tackle it, having reinforced everything here. It was, we ground our gears a couple times. We definitely, and I'm looking at you here, Copper, we definitely banged our heads up against a couple things, but I really do think we've got everything pretty much sorted, which is nice. That's very nice. So I may let things charge up, specifically steel here between episodes. But I think we have done all of the work that is required to charge these buffers up. So if it looks a little bit different, it's only that I've let it run. Same as last time, won't build anything in between. In fact, I don't even think I unpaused it between this episode and last, despite saying I might, but that'll be my philosophy. I think that makes sense. I want you to see the important stuff. Look at this. Space has got life to it. It's got structure almost even. Soon we're gonna pave. We're gonna have train tracks. I can see where we're going. Do you see the vision? I see the vision. I'm excited. I hope you are too. Well, thanks so much for joining. As always, we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.